Dream Team, it's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video. We are back with Kaitlyn once again. 10 American habits I lost after moving to Australia. Let's see what these 10 habits are and if I have these 10 habits. Before we do jump in, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so I get suggested. And if you got a favorite video suggestion, drop it in the comment section, or better yet, subscribe to Patreon. What we got, Kaitlyn?
G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kaitlyn and I'm an American learning to live down under here in beautiful Sydney, Australia. I've been living in Australia since December of 2021. Time is flying by and already 10 months in Australia, I've had some American habits that I've just lost completely since moving over here. And honestly, as an American coming over to Australia, I was one of those people who's like, I'm probably going to stay the same way that I am. There's going to be some things added, but nothing's really going to change. I'm 30, I'm set in my ways already, and I was shocked putting this list together to see just how much of my habits have changed since moving to Australia. So if you want to see the American habits that I've lost after coming to Australia, grab a Becky, grab a cuppa, and let's jump right into this video. The first habit that I've lost, and I'm actually really glad I lost this one, is microwaving water to make tea. Yes, Americans do actually do that. A lot of American homes don't own electric kettles. Honestly,
it's about convenience, guys. I don't drink tea. I don't do it because I don't drink tea. But in America, we live more convenience. It's just faster to go ahead, hit that microwave it, make it tea, is what I'm assuming, because most of our other things in life are about convenience. But yeah, every other country clowns us for this. I feel like I didn't even know that an electric kettle existed, and I don't know why I wouldn't think that exists. It's just the American in me.
Actually do that. A lot of American homes don't own electric kettles. Honestly, Americans just aren't really big tea drinkers. Actually, there was a very recent video by American and local, like not too far from where I grew up actually. Evan Edinger from South Jersey lives in the UK, and he actually made a really interesting video about why most Americans don't have tea kettles or electric kettles or whatever you want to call them in their house. So if you want to see that full video, I'll link it down below in the description for you guys. But as an American, I did microwave water in order to make tea. And to be honest, I didn't really drink tea that much. If I did, it was either iced tea or I'd have tea with honey and lemon when I was feeling sick and had a really sore and scratchy throat. Otherwise, I'm not really much of a tea drinker. I drink it a little bit now and then, or if I'm at somebody's house and they're making tea, I don't mind having a cup with a couple biscuits or something then, but really, I'm not a tea person.
Same.
But even when I do make tea, I have completely gotten rid of the habit of putting a mug full of water into the microwave and heating it up for 90 seconds so that way it's warm enough that you could put a tea bag in it. Yes, you don't even put the tea bag in, you just microwave the water and then you add a tea bag. It's such a bizarre way to make tea after moving abroad and seeing how you're actually supposed to properly make a cup of tea. So even though I'm not a huge tea drinker, it is a habit that I'm so glad that I have lost and don't microwave my water anymore to make tea. The second habit I've lost is arguing about politics. When you're an American...
I hate this habit. I once again, I do not have this habit. I hate this habit, bro. Because people always get butthurt, always get in their feelings when arguing about politics. And oh my gosh, it's literally so annoying because it's two people arguing who, no matter what facts, no matter what evidence that you give them, they will not change their mind. So why do you continue to argue when neither side is willing to listen to the other side and change? They're willing to be nobody's willing to change their opinion. So there's no point. There's no point. I don't argue politics with anyone. What are you, a Republican? Cool. You're a Democrat? Cool. You're both cool with me. Because like it's just no point. But I'm sorry. I just want to get my perspective on each point before she does it, if that's okay.
The second habit I've lost is arguing about politics. When you're an American, your politics, your political identity is such a big part of who you are.
Facts.
And in America, so many people are really argumentative about politics, about their political beliefs.
Lord.
And I feel like this is something that isn't as common over here in Australia, at least not to the same extent. Yes, Aussies can be political. Yes, you're going to find some Aussies on the extreme ends of both sides, but the reality is Aussies don't talk nearly as much about politics as Americans do from my experience. And on top of that, I've just stopped arguing with people over it. If they want to feel what the left feels or what the right feels, I'm at the point where I shrug my shoulders and say, okay, I don't care. If that's your opinion, that's fine. So many people have opinions that they refuse to change. A lot of people don't actually want to learn, they just want to be right. And I've gotten to that point, not just from moving abroad, but I think also just that point in my life where if somebody's not actually interested in having a civil discussion, if they're not actually interested in learning a new viewpoint, in learning some new facts, then I'm not interested in having a conversation with them. I'm not going to waste my time, my breath, my energy on people who are more worried about being right than they are worried about learning something new in the conversation. Honestly, I'm over it. And most of the time when that comes up, it revolves around politics. Obviously, mostly American politics. Australians do talk a little bit about politics over here, but it's never much of a real, serious, cutthroat sort of debate. It's either just a general chat or normally it's just people making fun of the politicians. There's luckily very little respect for politicians over here, and honestly I think that's the way it should be. They're civil servants, they're voted in, they're not celebrities, they're not demigods like they are over in the States. So at the end of the day, Aussies, even though they care about politics, they're not going to argue about politics like Americans do. The third habit I've gotten rid of is having a wardrobe for all seasons.
Well, okay, this one, maybe not Aussie. Basically, my wardrobe is a summer wardrobe and a winter wardrobe. But I don't have a summer, spring, fall, and winter. We got two wardrobes. We got, in the summer, we got our hoodies, we got our sweats. You know what I'm saying? We got all that stuff that's going, in the winter, all that stuff that's going to keep us nice and warm in this cold weather. In the summer, we got our basketball shorts, we got our swim trunks, we got our t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that's going to keep us not as high. That's going to keep us not as high. But having a wardrobe for every season, that just means you have too much money that then you know what to do with. You got too much money that you know what to do with, and because who has a wardrobe for every season, bro?
The third habit I've gotten rid of is having a wardrobe for all seasons. And this isn't something that every American has, and honestly, I'm very lucky. I grew up with a family who was very loving and caring, always made sure that we had clothes, had a roof over our head, had food. I was very much supported growing up. I started a job fresh out of college that paid okay, and I've never had to worry about not having something to wear. So I'm just going to start that off by saying I know I'm very, very lucky in that regard. Granted, I'm not the kind of person who had the money to go out and buy Chanel handbags and Gucci sunglasses and whatever it is that stupidly, insanely rich people wear. I don't have any interest in a $3,000 plain white t-shirt from Versace. But I was able to afford clothes pretty regularly. I could change out my wardrobe from seasons. If I gained weight or lost weight, I would be able to change clothes out depending on how they fit. And coming over to Australia, I feel like partly because I work from home and not so much in an office, but I don't need clothes for every single season over here. I don't need a spring wardrobe. I don't need an autumn wardrobe. Obviously, you need clothes for summer and winter over here because it does get kind of chilly in the winter. And it can get stupidly hot over here in the summer. But I feel like, honestly, I've become one of those people who just mixes and matches things. If it's a little bit cool outside, then I'll put on a jumper. If it's getting a little bit warmer, then I'll wear shorts instead of pants or leggings. Or I'm one of those people who loves wearing dresses and skirts every chance I can. So that's my wardrobe most of the time. I don't have 4 different seasons worth of clothing.
Sorry.
over here in Australia. I've just learned to mix and match. I have what I have, and I'm slowly replacing some of the very American pieces with more comfortable Australian pieces, particularly when it comes to summer, because just the fabrics that are used over here are so much airier and lighter and breathable, and typically a lighter colored fabric as well compared to what I would see over in the States in the summer. So I'm not too fussed about switching everything else out now, but I typically just have a summer and a winter wardrobe, and then for spring and summer I just put on a cardigan. If it's too cold, I'll wear shorts instead of like long pants or something. If it's too warm, that's really what it comes down to. I don't feel like I need a designated wardrobe for every single season over here. The fourth habit I've lost is feeling guilty for not tipping.
Yeah, I don't even eat out no more at this point. Like I won't sit down and eat like in restaurants because I don't want to pay extra for food that if I took to go, then that I wouldn't have to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't stand because now I gotta not only pay for my food, but now I gotta, because the company decides they don't want to pay their workers enough money, a livable wage. Now I gotta make up for the company, or you just gonna starve, and I can't let you starve. So I gotta be generous and I gotta tip you, but I don't want to tip. I just want to pay for my food, eat, and go home. So I don't eat inside. If I order from somewhere, give it to me to go. I'll and don't try to give me no delivery service. No. I come pick it up. Give it to me to go because I don't want to pay extra money because the company is too cheap and they're not forced to pay these people livable wages. So, all right. Continue, Kaitlyn.
The fourth habit I've lost is feeling guilty for not tipping. So this is something that took a while for me to adjust to, and I do remember Ashley and I talked about this in a video a while back, but I used to feel such a guilt of not tipping waiters or waitresses or not tipping my hairdresser over here. But at the end of the day, I know that they're getting a fair wage. I know that they're getting paid a livable, a decent, at least they're getting paid the minimum wage over here. And it's not like the minimum wage is less for servers and waitstaff over here like it is in the States. So I know that they're at least getting the bare minimum federal minimum wage over here. And I don't feel the need to tip every single time I go out. Obviously, if you have great service or something like that, giving a couple extra dollars is fine, but I don't feel the need to tip 20% of my bill every single time we go out to eat at a restaurant. Like, I was shocked. I almost fell over. When Mark and I were getting everything together for the wedding, I was looking at our contract with the restaurant we were having dinner at afterwards, and it says if you have a party of 10 or more, you pay 10% gratuity. I was shocked. In the States, you have to pay an 18% gratuity. And most of the time, they also don't include tax in those prices. So you have the bill, you have the tax, and you have the gratuity. Only seeing a 10% gratuity was shocking. I was expecting something like 18 to 20% when I saw that added in. And honestly, for that amount of people and whatnot, I completely understand adding a gratuity on top of it. Imagine having to deal with a really large crowd, particularly a wedding crowd where some people could be a little bit more picky. Some people be a little bit picky about how things go. But honestly, as absolutely worth the extra 10% gratuity. I really feel like for something like a wedding party, the waiters and waitresses absolutely deserve that little bit of extra. And I don't have that same guilt going out to eat or getting my hair done that I used to when I first moved over here. Honestly, that guilt is pretty much gone now whenever I go out to a restaurant or a cafe. I don't know what it was, but it just kind of came to me out of nowhere. And that is looking forward to like American patriotic holidays over here in Australia. Obviously,
looking forward to American holidays. Looking forward to July. I think we just look forward to a time to celebrate. I think down to the basic, you look forward to getting some time off work because like we don't get the mandatory days off like a lot of other countries. So your national holidays, you know what I'm saying? You definitely look forward to those because you get the day off. And they're just looking for a reason to celebrate, just a reason to have a good time. You shouldn't need a reason to celebrate and have a good time, but we just look forward to those days. I feel like to get off work. maybe for the family to get together, just celebrate and have a good time with each other. Is what I personally feel like we look forward to those holidays.
Forward to like American patriotic holidays over here in Australia. Obviously, 4th of July is celebrated over here in Australia. Memorial Day isn't really a thing over here in Australia. Labor Day is actually an entire month later than it is in the States. At least here in New South Wales, I know Labor Day is kind of different across Australia. I don't know if it's the same between some states, but at least here in New South Wales, it is the first Monday of October here. Correct me if I'm wrong down below, but I think that's what it was. But even as an American, I still wanted to like acknowledge and celebrate at least a little bit of those holidays, because that is my culture, that is my heritage, that is my nationality, that is the only passport I own. Obviously, I'm not expecting people around me to celebrate. I'm surrounded by Aussies who's going to celebrate the 4th of July with me. Yeah. But at the same time, I've kind of stopped looking forward to those holidays anyway, because May is the start of summer over in the States. Obviously, Memorial Day weekend is considered like the unofficial kickoff for summer vacation. The 4th of July, everybody's off. It's the middle of summer. People are going out to the beach. They're having barbecues. And over here in Australia, I'm freezing cold, wrapped up in a blanket with my space heater on in the middle of work doing stuff. So it's not like it's a big, huge holiday for me over here. It's not like I can really go to the beach and go out and enjoy the weather. It's cold, and honestly, without La Nina and stuff like that that's been going on, it's raining a lot here as well.
I feel that.
So I do get a little bit of envy seeing family and friends going out and celebrating the 4th of July and Memorial Day. But you know what? I'm here in Australia. We go to the beach on Christmas. We have Boxing Day. I actually get an entire paid week off between Christmas and New Year's with my current job. I absolutely love it. And obviously, we have Australia Day. So there's plenty of things to celebrate as well, and plenty of chances to go to the beach, take a couple pictures, and maybe make my friends and family jealous when they're dealing with snowstorms in December and January. Number 6, I'm just going to say it, pretending to care about baseball. You guys, I know baseball.
Pretending to care about. I don't care one bit about baseball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like baseball is definitely a beloved American sport, but I could care less when it comes to baseball. I'm a basketball guy.
Number 6, I'm just going to say it, pretending to care about baseball. You guys, I know baseball's like America's pastime, and I have a few really good memories of going to Phillies games with family and friends and whatnot. But as far as the sport goes, I don't really care that much about it. I know so many people who are die-hard baseball fans, like hardcore, live and die by the sport. They watch every single game, every single year. I've never been one of those people. I like watching the NFL, American football. Once in a while, I like watching the Flyers at a hockey game. I was never really a basketball person. I didn't grow up in a basketball family. But my parents loved watching baseball, and I couldn't care less about baseball growing up. It was just background noise to me when my parents had it on. We'd go to Phillies games once in a while, and honestly, I look forward to the atmosphere. I look forward to the food. I look forward to just the overall feeling of being with other people in the crowd watching the game, but I didn't really care that much about the game itself, to be honest. But I feel like when you're in a professional setting, to some extent, you have to know a little bit about sports and care a little bit about sports. Even if you can't go into really long discussions about what the new starting pitcher is like and what's going on with the catcher, and there's plenty of other positions that I'm just completely blanking out on, of course, as I'm filming this. Like, give me 5 minutes and I'll probably remember, like, all positions on the field. But for now, I'm blanking out on anything besides the pitcher and the catcher. But I didn't care about baseball really that much in the States, and honestly, it's just not a thing here, and so many Aussies think baseball is boring, and honestly, I agree. It's a very slow game. It takes so long for so little action.
Yes.
And I know it kind of says a lot coming from a country that plays cricket where it takes like 5 days to play one game. But at the same time, baseball, even though it's almost like a sped up version of cricket to like very, very little extent. I know the games are very, very different. So I'm generalizing a lot there. Don't come at me for that.
I do enjoy my cricket highlights. I do enjoy watching cricket highlights though, but baseball is just enough.
I know the games are very, very different, so I'm generalizing a lot there. Don't come at me for that. But really, baseball's just not that exciting. It's not that entertaining to me. When Mark and I go over to the States next year, we might go see a Phillies game more for the experience than to actually really watch and pay attention to the game closely. The seventh habit, I still get tripped up on reading it, and that is month, date, year. So I've gotten so...
Why are we so different this way? I've always been intrigued of who came up with this. Why are we one of the only countries in the world that write our dates like this? Like, where did we get it from? Because we are one of the youngest countries in the world, so we had to get it from somebody else. Where did we get it from? And why do we have it like this?
I still get tripped up on reading it, and that is month, date, year. So I've gotten so used to writing date, month, year. But when I see Americans, I see something like 11/23/2022, and I'm like, what 23rd month is there? And then I remember, no, they're writing it the American way, and it has to be flipped. Yeah. And it's a little bit frustrating that a lot of Excel sheets still use American dates. So with the company I work at, we have a couple Excel sheets that we use, and I have to write the American dates, and it always trips me up which Excel sheets I have to do that for. I've gotten so used to writing date, month, year. That's the way Australians do it. That's the way I see just about everything over here. That's how the date's set up. It's the day, then the month, then the year. So honestly, I've pretty much lost that month, date, year habit, and it does trip me up when I have to actually read an American date and then remember I have to reverse all of that in my head. Habit number 8, this is going to make me sound like a lush, but drinking out of red Solo cups. That's something...
Red Solo cup, I pour you up. Let's have a party. We definitely love our red Solo cups. I feel like, but only in like party atmospheres or like get-togethers or anything like that, where you can just easily like throw them away. Like we don't just daily like drink out of a red Solo cup. Don't get it twisted. Just in get-together atmospheres, party atmospheres, you definitely need your red Solo cups. They come in handy.
Like a lush, but drinking out of red Solo cups, that's something Americans do. That's not Hollywood, that's not made up. That's just something that most people do at parties. Some people might have a can or a bottle, but typically if you're pouring any sort of mixed drink, you drink it out of a red Solo cup. And with like today's parties and whatnot, there's different colors that people use. I've drunk out of black and blue and yellow and white Solo cups. But the red one's the classic one. It's the one that everybody knows. It's the one that we grab at the little corner stores if we're just having a quick little get together with friends. And honestly, there's really no red Solo cups over here. So once in a while I do see them at BWS, but typically they're like $5 a pack, and I'm not paying $5 a pack. When you go to other people's houses, if it's like a small little get together, they give you actual glasses normally. Like you can actually drink at a party out of a proper glass. You don't just need a red Solo cup to drink out of. It's shocking. And then if you go to larger parties, people typically just have disposable, normally like colored cups or something like that they'll pick up at a party discount store. But they're normally like paper-ish cups, or they're smaller plastic cups. They're not these giant red Solo cups that I've been drinking out of for much, much longer than I can remember. It's been a thing since even before I was born. So red Solo cups are insanely popular in the US, not popular here at all, and I've just gotten used to drinking alcohol out of a proper glass over here. This 9th habit I'm so glad I lost is feeling the need to make excuses for taking a sick day. When I was in the States, if I needed to...
Yes, you feel like you got to give a whole explanation about what's going on. You can't just say like, hey, I'm not feeling well today. You got to be like, hey, I'm not feeling well. My head's hurt. I took my temperature. It's at 102. I already set up a doctor appointment for later, so I won't be able to come in today. You feel like you got to give a whole explanation. Whereas you should be able to just call and say, hey, I'm just not feeling good today. I won't be in.
Need to make excuses for taking a sick day. When I was in the States, if I needed to take a sick day, I would email my boss and say, hey, I'm not feeling well. I have a fever. I have an upset stomach. I have a splitting migraine. I'd always give some excuse as to why I'm not going to be in. And that was between different managers, different jobs. There was always this need to explain why you're feeling ill in order to take a sick day over in the States.
Yep.
Whereas over here, I just say, I'm not feeling well, I'm taking a sick day, and my manager goes, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hope you feel better. Let me know early tomorrow if you're not going to be in tomorrow as well, just so that way we know what's going on. Just keep me in the loop. Hope you feel okay. Typical niceties like that. There isn't this need to explain what's going on when I'm feeling sick. Like in the States, not only do you feel the sense of guilt taking a sick day because now your work is being put onto other people, or you're taking one sick day and that means you're going to have twice as much work to go into the next day, and you're probably still not going to be feeling great the next day, but you only have so many sick days because you live in America and those are the rules. Over here, I don't feel the need to explain why I'm taking a sick day anymore. And honestly, I just don't anymore. I just say, I'm not feeling well, I'm taking a sick day, and it hasn't been a problem. There's no need to go into detail about why you're not feeling well over here, and it's something I so appreciate. So I don't feel guilty taking a sick day. I don't feel guilty not telling them why I'm taking a sick day. And honestly, sick days are something that are earned. So if you need to take a sick day over here, just take it. And number 10 is worrying about medical debt. I'm gonna have to really...
Fortunately for me, I haven't got, because I don't have insurance right now, but I haven't had any health problems or sick problems or anything where I needed to go to the hospital. But I can only imagine if I did, I would be super stressed, like ridiculously stressed about the debt I would walk out with. Like, yeah, that's definitely an American thing, and that's not healthy. It's stress, and them hospitals definitely gonna make you stress about them bills.
And number 10 is worrying about medical debt. I don't have to really worry about that anymore. To be honest, if something comes up like I need surgery or something major done like that, yeah, there's going to be a bit more of a cost added onto it. But even just having private health insurance over here, because I don't have Medicare yet, just having private health insurance covers so much, and the bills aren't nearly as high over here. Like I said in my video before, it cost me a couple $100s to go to an emergency room over here in Australia, whereas if I didn't have insurance, it would have cost me about $1,500 out of pocket. Even with insurance, it still cost me about $900 over in the States, I think. Over here, if I need a medication, if I need to go see a doctor last minute, I don't have to worry and check my bank account to see what's there. I know if I go to a doctor, it's either going to cost me nothing or it's going to cost me very little. I'm talking like under $50 to go see your doctor and then to go get a prescription that you need over here. It's so affordable to get sick over here, which I know sounds so weird, but you can go sick without going into medical debt over here, and it's really surprising from an American's perspective. Like, I have friends and family who are dealing with medical debt. I know people who've gone into bankruptcy because they couldn't pay their medical bills. So it really is frustrating to know that it costs so much for the exact same treatment over in the States, just because things are so much less regulated, whereas over here things are affordable. There's things like Medicare. Private health insurance isn't stupidly expensive, and it covers a lot. So that's it for this video, you guys. 10 American habits that I have lost since moving to Australia 10 months ago. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button down below to join our Amer-Australian family. My name is Kaitlyn, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
I rock with Kaitlyn husband, and I definitely feel her on every single. Okay.